I honestly believe 99% of Australians do not know that seismic blasting is happening or the damage that it's doing.
It's a frustrating episode, YouTube, I'm sorry.
We call it the seismic secret.
You've heard the phrase think global, act local when conserving our natural world, but what does act local look like? My name's Cameron Doyle, and together with my partner Ellie and dog Pops, I'm cruising the east coast of Australia finding legends getting their hands dirty and having a positive environmental impact in their local communities. We Are Explorers presents Act Local. The old bus is heading down to the Great Ocean Road, but not before we got
bogged. That's all it takes to bog that guy.
In a town called Forest.
Cool.
We finally got pulled out and we were on our way. Jeez, it rains a lot here. Which is the mortal enemy of a bloke that prefers to chuck on some Brookes to go about his day. I'm cold. Eventually we made it to Apollo Bay, home of the scallop pie. Your boy's a veggie, so I copped a spinach and feta roll instead.
10 out of 10.
Ellie grabbed a pizza from George's before shacking up at the caravan park. We're here to meet crew from Ocean. That's the Otway Climate Emergency Action Network. We were told to meet on a boat down at the port. Not this boat, or this boat. Pirate flag appreciation. Trev's boat.
Boat that's getting the scallops for the famous scallop pie at the bakery.
No. With local activist Lisa Deppler. And a quick warning, this chat will piss you off. And it should.
Tell me about what you are targeting most and what you hate most about what's happening here.
I'd have to say the gas development in the Otway Basin. I think they're running out of gas over in Gippsland and they've got their greedy eyes on our lovely ocean. Just with practice, we've worked out that it's seismic testing that we have to stop. Seismic testing is the beginning of it all. If we don't stop this exploration at that stage, it's a bit of a done deal. We needn't bother.
All right. What's seismic testing? Seismic releases devastating sound blasts to locate gas reserves deep below the ocean floor. These 250 decibel explosions occur every 10 seconds, 24 hours a day, for months on end. That's loud. A concert will generally max out at 120 decibels, and outside of an aircraft engine is around 140 decibels at takeoff.
It kills, damages, and disrupts animals, either by the blasts themselves, just from being in the vicinity of the blast, or by disrupting their feeding, their breeding and their migrations, particularly when it comes to whales. One thing that a lot of people don't think about is the zooplankton. Zooplankton is floating around in the upper area of the water, and each blast kills zooplankton for at least 1.2 kilometres. They haven't tested any further than that. So zooplankton is super important. It's not just whale food and krill. For example, crayfish spend their first 2 years floating around in that upper table of the water. That's one of their stages of life, and they float right down around New Zealand, come back, do it again, and then they come back to their reef so as Trev can catch them.
Yeah, they say that, it's not that harmful, and they operate on VLF, very low frequency, yet, but you can't go skin diving within 6 kilometres of it if you're whilst they're blasting, because they might blow your ears out and your brains out. So
What was it going to do to the fish?
Exactly. He's been squid fishing the last couple of seasons, and they have pretty good seasons. But since all this seismic testing, it's been really poor.
It would appear that seismic testing is making life pretty difficult for the local fishermen of Apollo Bay. But not only that.
They're blasting areas well below the continental shelf in 5 kilometres of water. Now, it's going to be decades before this, if there is gas there, that it's going to be in production. Decades. And we're meant to have moved well beyond gas, by 2030. So, to me, this is just wanton destruction of our marine life, because we can't afford to use that gas that they're going to find.
They already know where every speck of oil or gas is in Australia.
That's really
and they just keep doing it. But I'm sure they're just making money off leasing out these permits, the exploration permits, and it's like, if you don't use it, you lose it.
Yeah.
If you don't go out and blast away, and get some figures, and then you can't come back.
To quote a good friend from Friends of the Earth, Freya Leonard, she says, it's the unthinkable in search of the unnecessary. So it makes you more frustrated, because it really is for nothing. I believe they just don't know how to stop doing what they do.
All right, let's just take 5, take a deep breath. 4, why the f*** are they doing this? 3, this makes no sense. 2, 1, what's Ocean doing to try and stop this shit?
We're trying to raise awareness for starters, because we actually think if people knew about seismic blasting, there'd be riots in the street.
Oh yeah.
If it were happening on, mainland, it would not be tolerated for a second. But not only with the people, with our politicians. We just recently did a trip to Canberra, Ocean and some other partner groups. We met with 8 MPs who really didn't know what seismic testing was, and certainly doesn't know the loopholes and the murkiness around some of these licences that are being given.
Yeah, so tell me about some of that murkiness, because I did read on your site there's some real shifty behaviour going on.
Every year, the Resources Minister, with the advice of scientists, they release areas for gas companies to basically tender after, and they are released. When that happens, the people of Australia get 30 days to comment on it. Luckily, they released the fact that they were going to seismic blast Ningaloo, and so the Australian people, rejected that, Well, this is coming through the back door. This is not using those annual title releases. This is called a Special Prospectors Authority, and it's unsolicited. It's where a multinational company comes along and says, this looks like a pretty good area of Australia, let's go for this. The titles regulator, NOPTA, a bureaucrat, gets to decide alone whether that company can seismic blast our ocean. This has not gone through our government. This will not get that 30-day consultation that we should get before we decide to hand over an area like that to a company to seismic blast. This is Apollo Bay weather.
Yeah, I know. Oh, I know about Apollo Bay weather, and a bit of comedic relief when a chat gets pretty heavy. How can the everyman, every woman get involved? How can we help, even if it's not here on the Great Ocean Road in Apollo Bay and the Otways? What can we do to help?
Find out what seismic testing is. Write to your local members. Get onto ocean.org.au and join Ocean. And there are plenty of other groups that are acting on this as well. We've got partner groups, Beyond Gas, Friends of the Earth, Surfers for Climate.
Yeah, I think I'm going to hopefully catch up with them. They haven't told me yes or no yet. Spoiler alert, I caught up with them. That's coming in episode 3. There is so much more to this issue, including the double standards for the local fishermen.
Trevor's not allowed to go out and fish on those marine parks, but the seismic ships are allowed to blast a lot of the marine parks. They're not protected from seismic blasting.
I know I haven't covered everything, so if you want more information, please reach out to Lisa and the crew at ocean.org.au. Now, to ease us back into the rest of our day, here's some vision of Ellie and I's waterfall micro adventure. If you know a local legend doing their bit to protect our natural world, please reach out to either myself at Cameron Doyle or We're Explorers. See you on the next episode of Act Local. Love you.